I said, okay, I'm here in LA. I want to do it in English. So that was the first time after being about 25 years as an actor that I write and direct the script. So I just wanted to do it in English. Yeah, I think the environment invited me to do that.
And did you write the story in English? Do you have it in mind? Everything was in English, or did you have the story already and then you translated it?
No, I started to write everything in English. Yeah, from page one. Yes.
Henry, tell us about Kathmandu. I think people really enjoyed the movie. The craziness, very psychedelic movie. So can you tell us about the movie, your involvement?
So I was the cinematographer and also the writer on the film. And I was actually traveling, and my friend called me and said, "Hey, we got a movie that we want to shoot in Nepal. Are you down?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And came over. We kind of had a slight idea of what we were going to do. Then we got over there and realized it wasn't quite feasible, so we kind of scrapped it. And we were over there for a full month, so we kind of experienced for 2 weeks and let our experiences kind of inform what was going to happen throughout through the script. We didn't trip out or anything, but we both got sick over there. They gave me 3 diagnoses. It was either tuberculosis, I can't remember the other one, or lymphoma, which is incurable. And I was like sitting there thinking what my Make-A-Wish would be. And, I ended up being fine, but it kind of let us inform what the whole rest of the movie was going to be about. So, yeah, we wrote it over there. Spent about a month over there shooting. It was super fun and easy to shoot over there. It was kind of like we said, "Hey, we got a camera. Let's shoot something," and people were all excited. So it was really pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. Yeah.
Did you need to ask any permission on the city to shoot, or you were just filming?
Yeah, it was pretty much we showed up. I think for one of the club scenes we had to pay like $300 or something for the location, but everything else was pretty much free. That rock club with like Jimi Hendrix in the background, it was pretty crazy. We went in there and we were like, "Hey, we want to shoot something here. Do you think you would let us do that?" He was like, "Yeah, come back in 2 weeks. We're doing a little renovation. Come back and see us and we'll let you know." We got there like 2 days before the 2-week deadline, and the roof was off the place. They were like, we thought they were doing a couple renovations, but they were completely redoing the whole thing. And we were like, "Do you think you guys are going to be ready in 2 days?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, come back." And it was completely revitalized, new stage lights and everything that you saw. It was insane. And it just wasn't what you were expecting in Nepal, like this crazy, epic rock club. But it was, everyone there was super accepting and welcoming to us. It was really cool.
So, any other questions?
The reason I ask that is because in LA, I don't know if in the whole country, Florida, or the whole states, but you have to ask the city for permission anywhere you want to shoot. Even if you want to shoot inside your room at your own house, you have to ask for permission. And I think some of the permissions will cost between $500 or $700 just to shoot anywhere. Yeah.
We were pretty lucky because we had a super small crew, so it was like only 5 of us over there. So we were able to kind of get in and get out pretty quickly. So, but I mean, there were crazy stories with each one of those scenes. Like the scene where we were walking down the street, we got like a rickshaw, because I was hanging off the back of the rickshaw with the camera, shooting that walk and talk walking down the street. And the first rickshaw guy we got was hammered out of his mind. And we were like, we let him take us down the street once, and we're like, "Sorry, we're gonna go with someone else." He was like, "No, I do a good job. He was like, "No, sorry, we're gonna go with someone else. Please go on your way." And before you knew it, he was pulling his wiener out and trying to pee on us, and like popped the tires on his rickshaw and just laid it in front of the group and in the middle of the street and was like, "You're not filming here." We're like, "Oh my god." Yeah, it was pretty out of control. But, and each scene had like a crazy story with that. So there's tons of stories. But
Christian, can you tell us a little bit about the two actors, the main two actors in your short film? They were, I think it was a great choice, but they kind of look familiar, but I don't know if they are or not. But like the bad guy was so like really bad and played off of like the sick guy, and then when we find out it's like kind of role reversal, not necessarily, but the tables weren't like what we saw before. So can you tell us about how you cast them? Do we know them?
Yeah, definitely. One of them is very familiar, actually, to me, because one is my son, actually. The young one is my son. And I wrote the film for him, and because he's an actor and he's been living in LA for about 4 years now. And about the other guy, that's a funny story, because when I ended up finishing the script, I uploaded to this LA casting websites where you submit your project and you start requesting actors for casting and everything. And I had about 400 submissions for the role of the old guy, the bad guy, in one day. So I had to choose between this amount of people, certain actors that I would cast. So I did auditions, and I chose about 10 of them based on the reel. And there was this guy who only had a picture. He didn't have anything else, just a picture that looked exactly like him. And I said, okay, this is the guy that I wanted in my movie, but I don't know if he can act or not. So I sent the script to these 10 people and prepared an audition about 3 days after that. And he answered my email and he said, hey, I wanna audition for the part, but I'm in Mexico. So can I take myself and send it over to you? And I said, sure. And it took a couple of days for him to do that. And while I was actually casting these other actors, I wasn't that happy with the people I cast in LA. So when I received the tape of this guy, he was literally doing the same thing, looking at the camera as he did in the movie, and and he improvised a lot, and then I said, okay, you have the job, but you're in Mexico. And I said, no, I'm going to fly over to when are you shooting? I'm shooting in 3 days. Okay, I'm flying over to LA to do this. I want to do the story. So he came to LA and he did it. And when I met him, I asked him, because he has kind of like a familiar face, as you say. I mean, some people say he looks like Willem Dafoe or someone who looks like Willem Dafoe. And everybody says, I think I've seen this guy in a movie. And he told me his story. He's 64 years old. He's never acted before. He has 3 daughters that they're in their 20s, and they are actresses in LA. And 10 years ago, he when he was taking the young one to the acting classes, he said, oh, these might be fun, so I think I'm going to do it just for me. And he started to take improv sessions just for an improv group in a class. And he's been doing that for about 10 years. And he told me that lately, last year, his teacher told him that if you don't start auditioning for real movies, I'm going to start teaching you. I'm going to stop teaching you. So this is, I think, the second thing that he's ever done in his life. And since then, I met him at my son's graduation about two months ago, and he's never stopped working since then. So I think he's doing pretty well, and I think he's a natural actor. He's a method actor. Actually, if you see the movie again, he's gonna from the very first shot, he has a scar. He has a fresh cut because in the rehearsals he started to really fight the cops, and he had a how do you say it? Un cabezazo. Headbutt. Like a headbutt, and he his forehead before the shooting. So the guy was bleeding on the rehearsals, like half an hour before we had to really shoot the movie. So we did all we could to, put some makeup and you don't get to notice that. But the guy, he's really natural, and I'm glad he did well. I think they do really chemistry on screen, and that was it. And the other one, as I told you, is my son.
Thank you. And we have a question right there.
Is that guy Mexican? The bad guy?
Oh, Mexican?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not Mexican. His mother is from Mexico, was from Mexico. The guy, he's from San Diego, and I think his father married a Mexican. Well, I don't know if his father was Mexican too, because the guy is named Joe Lopez.
Did you make him look older?
No, he's just like that.
Like that.
He looks just like that. I think, yes. When I saw him on the picture, he looked better on the picture than in real life. And when I saw him in person, I said, okay, we're not even putting makeup on you. I mean, I really like the way you look. Yeah. Yes. What you see is what you get. He has more wrinkles in his face than an elephant. Yeah. Oh, and the guy, I don't know if it's because of that, but the guy's been a surfer for about 40 years. And he's been surfing all over the world until he just settled down.
Any other questions?
I'm going to pretend to be an audience. So, can you tell us a little bit about the budget? Because normally people don't realize how much sometimes this creating and producing a short film costs. Just talk about general budget and how much something like this.
Okay, let's start with Henry.
I was pretty hands off on the budget. The producer, yeah, she was just working on getting her visa, and it was like her last trip that she could take before she could get her visa, and it was completely funded by her. So it was kind of like, sure, you can do it, and I'm there. So I wish I could tell you more, but I really I knew how much my plane ticket cost, and that's about it.
Oh man, mine. It was supposed to be paid by a school, but I ended up hiring a bigger crew and flying over. I mean, the actor and getting a restaurant and everything, and it is above 20. Yeah, little less than 30, but it's between that.
Sometimes it can be very expensive. Anybody else?
Yeah, this is, I think, the most glamorous way to waste your money. Yeah. Yeah. So they can call you at the end of the director. Yeah.
Do you see a question?
So it's for Christian. So did you like it? Did you like directing? Are you thinking on doing it again in any time soon? Any real 45-minute or an hour movie?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. After this, I started thinking about more stories. I took this year off as an actor because of this movie. I've been having fun submitting this to a lot of festivals around the world, and I've been traveling with it. It's been really fun. But I think next year I'm going back to acting. Actually, one of my agents is here, so you have to get me a job soon. And but I have 3 stories that I wanted to develop as a writer and eventually direct them. They're going to be feature films. Yes.
What was the inspiration for the movie? What was where the theme came from, for both of you?
You want to answer? Okay. The first thing that I was thinking was about the premise of the movie is what if you just find out that you're about to die, that you have this terminal disease and you're dying in less than 30 days, and you have absolutely nothing with you on you, and actually nothing to lose. So what would you do if you're in that position? And after that, when I started to think about the idea, I don't know why I remembered a song, a line from a Bruce Springsteen song about like 35 years ago, in Atlantic City, where he ended up saying, "Last night I met this guy, and I'm gonna do a little favor for him." So I put those things together, and that's how I started to write the movie.
Yeah, like I said before, it was kind of we were toying with the idea of why this guy was running away, and then me and the director both got sick, and we're like, okay, this is actually something that happens. People get sick and they run away from their diagnosis. And other things that were kind of inspired, like the glowing head figure that was leading him through the city. My flight, I had an 11-hour layover in Hong Kong, and the Hong Kong airport is like huge. There's like art galleries and like homages to Bruce Lee and stuff all throughout the airport. And I was walking through and I saw this picture of this like samurai in full garb, and he had a glowing head. And it wasn't until we started talking about like the psychedelic sequences that I thought about that picture, and again I was like, this is kind of a really cool figure to be kind of guiding him into his realization of what he's doing wrong by running away from his problems. So yeah, and then we just let different, there were things that didn't make the cut as well, but it was kind of just all of our experiences while we were over there, like going to the dancing club and the rock club and all that we let it just kind of weave its way into the story.
Can you also tell us a little bit about the main actors in Kathmandu? Are they your friends? Like they flew over there? How did that work? How did you cast?
Yeah, so the main actor, the lead, acted in Jacob, the director's senior film, and he's one of the greatest actors that we've ever worked with. He's just really, he can tap into his emotion really well, and he was just kind of, he became our friend through that set, and we were like, we need to bring him over because he's down for anything, and he's like kind of a hippie type of dude to begin with, so we're like, he'd be perfect for the role. And then the other guy, his friend Gaurav, went to school with us. He actually came on as a producer, and we tried casting some other locals, but they just they didn't quite have the chops, and he was with us the whole time, and we were like, let's just cast Gaurav in it, and he ended up doing a pretty good job. We were worried at first because he isn't an actor, but we ended up pulling some good performances out of him. But yeah, he came on as a producer, and then we're like, you want to act? He was like, I guess so. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Probably from the beginning to an end, writing and producing and shooting, editing, how long for both of you something like this will take you?
It took me about 2 to 3 weeks. Yes, we. I don't know why I wrote it very fast. I think I wrote it in 2 weeks, and then the problem was that I rented the restaurant, the diner. I saw the diner and I fell in love with it. They shoot a lot of Hollywood movies in there, and I said I want that diner. So I rented the diner, and they would give it to me for just 12 hours. So we tried our best to shoot fast as we can. We ended up shooting the film in 10 hours. Wow. And 3 days after that, it was edited. So yeah, I think it was really quick for us.
The fast, yes.
Yes, and actually the composer who the guy, he's a guy from Russia. He lives in LA. He makes music for a lot of series in Hollywood, included Gotham and I don't know which else. The guy was he was on location was looking watching while we were shooting the film. So he went home with an idea, and 3 days after, he just showed up with the whole music, and his music has won about 2 or 3 awards in different countries for this film. Yes.
Yeah, so from inception, it was probably like 2 weeks of like, hey, we're gonna go. Then we were over in Nepal for a whole month, shot for maybe like a week of that. The rest was kind of like location scouting and figuring out what we were gonna do and writing. But yeah, so we were in Nepal for a month, and this was 2 years ago. Jacob edited it as well, the director, and he takes a while to edit. Yeah. I like to edit my stuff in a weekend, like you. It takes 3 days usually for me because it's all I do. But yeah, he plays around with it a lot, and then there was the visual effects and stuff too, which he did all himself. So it took quite a bit of time in the post process, but yeah.
Any other questions? Right there.
A nivel actoral, ¿alguna herramienta o qué método utilizaron para, por ejemplo, para el actor principal, para la actriz? O sea, ¿utilizaron algún método en particular que lo necesite herramientas para la actuación? Porque si bien es cierto que, como dicen, la producción fue bien rápida, yo asumo que tuvieron que prepararse muy bien para optimizar el tiempo, o sea, en el momento de grabar. Entonces, ¿cuánto tiempo duró él preparándose para la actuación? Porque yo por lo que vimos todo, o sea, era muy actual, su cara, empecé a prepararse para imaginarse en un personaje de una persona que iba a morir en 3 o 4 semanas. O sea, ¿alguna herramienta o un método en particular de actuación?
Okay, so she's asking if the actors in Christian's film prepared with any particular acting method, or if they had any tool, because she says she thinks that for the amount of time that he explained that they shot, like they must have been very prepared.
Yes, thanks. Yes, for about a week before we shoot the movie, I made my son come to my house in LA to do the whole film over and over again every night for about a week. So I pretended to be the bad guy, and so we rehearsed a lot, and so I knew the guy was going to be fine because not my son, but the old guy, because of what I saw on the tape. But with my son, we rehearsed a lot, and about intentions, about we tried to improvise, I don't know, like things in the movie, and because the guy was coming from Mexico the same day we were shooting. He came in the morning, and we were shooting at 5 p.m. So they didn't have time to rehearse, but on set. So yeah, I prepared my son for about a week, and then when they met finally on set, I gave them about 2 hours to do the lines and to feel comfortable. And when they say they were ready, I turn on the cameras.
He had a good professor from you. Christian, of course, he's part of Peruvian, but also Latin American history of films. He's in very famous movies like La Mujer de mi Hermano y No Se Lo Digas a Nadie, which are amazing films. I'm really happy that you're here with us, sharing your movie. Also, we have Henry here. Thank you so much for coming.
That's it.
And please, round of applause for them.